Welcome to the Dateable AF podcast, because women dating women is wild, wonderful, and occasionally a disaster. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Kyle, a therapist in private practice.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Howell, researcher extraordinaire.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of the Dateable AF podcast. Today, our topic is Sealed with a Mess: Why Kissing Can Be Magic or a Total Red Flag.
Wait to talk about that.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
We're going to talk about the kiss, kind of that moment that either your whole world can vibrate or when you immediately regret your decision to kiss that person.
Oh my God. So, kissing is a ton of fun. I think we probably can all agree on that. It can be intimate. It can be crazy. It can be loaded. It can also be a big old red flag. So I can't wait to talk about that. And so I've, in the dating world, there have been many conversations between those of us that are single and dating about how important that kiss is in the beginning.
Yes, and whether it's the first one that matters or if you get more comfortable as you go along. So we're going to talk about all of that today. We're going to be talking about what science says about kissing, what kissing might reveal about your connection with that person, and if a bad kiss might or might not signal bigger issues.
Well, so I love some of the research behind this, in that kissing serves these two primary functions in romantic relationships, and that's sort of assessing a partner and then mediating attachment. And I also loved some of the stuff I was reading about the benefits, both the physiological benefits of it, which we'll talk a little bit about, and then I was shocked about the sharing of saliva being a positive thing.
I know.
For dental health.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The more saliva you produce, the better you move bacteria. And then also the more bacteria you're exposed to, the more it boosts your immune system. I feel that may be a stretch, but it said it.
Well, you could also just share drinks with a stranger on the bus.
You could, or eat a grape that somebody's just picked up off the ground. That'll boost the hell out of your immune system.
That'll boost your immune system. See, you haven't been sick since you did that, right?
I have not. Knock on wood. Yeah, I did get cold the other day, I think.
Should have eaten more grapes off the ground.
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness. Well, I have read that research suggests that kissing really gives you a chance to assess whether this person would be a potential mate. So let's talk about why that might be. Like, why would kissing someone let you know if they would be a good mate for you or not?
Since kissing is one of the frontline things that you do with somebody as you're getting to know somebody, and because there's so much chemistry involved in that activity, I think that it definitely gives you the first glimpse into whether or not you sort of share some natural rhythm with somebody, and that you potentially share some kind of natural energy and you exchange it in ways that make sense.
Yeah, that's a good thing to think about, because I wonder too, if you have really good chemistry with someone, I mean, what if they're just a bad kisser? What if they haven't had the right experience? Or, I mean, what? How do you know if that's because of the chemistry being off, or just they need a little instruction?
Well, I certainly have personal experiences in this area, and there are moments where you walk away, and there can be somebody I've been exposed to somebody who, from a physical standpoint, thinking, whoa, they're really attractive, and then you jump into that, and then I'm like, what is going on in like this? I don't know what this activity is, but it is not kissing.
It's not working out for me. Yeah, because I think there are logistics involved. I mean, is it too, like, is it too wet? Like, are they using their tongue too much? Are their lips too tight? Like, there are certain things about it that are kind of skill based.
There are, but yes, I do think maybe there are a rhythm too that also can get tangled up with technique, because there just is a lot going on there.
Yep. Yeah, so chemistry is one thing, but I do think, yeah, technique is something else. I did read a study that it was a study of 1,605 people, so not insignificant. And they found that more frequent kissing was strongly associated with higher sex and relationship satisfaction. So what this would say to me is that if you're in a relationship and you're kissing a lot, either it's bringing about better sex or it's making you feel better about the relationship in general. So you're reporting more positive things about your sex life and your relationship.
Well, it's definitely known to increase the sense of closeness, intimacy. And so I think that's always a win-win in a relationship, is that. And what's astounding is really the amount of the frequency or the lack thereof of individuals that have been together for a long time, and the fact that they don't kiss much. Oftentimes they don't.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me too, that I think that's often associated with an earlier phase of dating, but it's actually a positive thing to keep that going. No reason not to.
Right. And that to me, that's low hanging fruit. Sometimes you can think, oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't do, I'm just not up for everything else. But to me, the kissing is sort of low hanging fruit. That's something that's easy to grab a great kiss at any time during the day that you happen to be crossing paths with your person.
For sure. For sure. And I wonder if this is a factor more of heterosexual relationships, but often I will hear someone saying that they don't want to initiate kissing with their partner because they're not up for more. And they're afraid if they start to kiss, then their partner's going to assume they're initiating sex. So we want to be advocates of just kissing for the sake of kissing.
Right. I also think that sometimes it's a great tease. And when you think that you aren't, like, you may be losing, let's say the lesbian bed death thing may be coming on, I also think that is a great thing to do, is just sort of create some boundaries around that kiss and kind of make yourself, it's a tease, and like, that's what we're going to do. And then it makes you want it. I think it opens the door to you then thinking, well, I want more.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So let's go back to the beginning when kissing might be kind of awkward. I mean, I think an awkward kiss can be sort of like wearing a bad sports bra. It's like really uncomfortable and you can't wait to get out of it.
That's the God's truth. I almost think wearing a bad sports bra is worse than a bad kisser. I don't know. It's up for grabs, but
yeah, that is true. Well, on that note, actually, I have been on a quest for a new sports bra, or some new sports bras, because mine are kind of old and tired. And I did find one recently that I love, and it's for this company called Handful. The one that I got that I love so much is their Y-back version. And Handful has agreed to give our Dateable AF listeners a 30% discount. So go check them out, y'all. It's a handful.com. And if you use the promo code Dateable AF, that's all one word in all caps, you'll get 30% off of that. And I highly recommend it. They're a great, great product.
They really are. I tried 2 different ones, and my favorite is the Off the Hook bra. And I don't usually wear bras, not often. They hook typically in the front, but this one hooks in the back. But what I love about it, one, it's just super comfortable, and it has a little wider straps and stuff. But I love it because it's comfortable and it comes up a little bit high, and so you could actually wear it like a shell underneath a shirt, so that if you want to just kind of leave your shirt unbuttoned a little bit, because it comes up, it's kind of a nice flat crossing across your chest. Anyway, I love it. I love that one. And again, it's just really difficult to find good bras in general. So
yeah, go check them out, y'all. Handful.com and use code DateableAF for 30% off. So back to kissing. The kissing actually has been shown to have some positive benefits to your health and to your emotional well-being.
Well, if you think about, for sure, it increases oxytocin, which is the good feel good hormone. It decreases your cortisol levels, which is the bad hormone that can is unhealthy when that's shooting through your body.
Yes.
And it also releases dopamine, and that is a mood booster. So that's a lot of good stuff.
It's a lot of good stuff that comes from kissing. So go make out with your partner, y'all. Yeah. I think just getting those feel-good chemicals flowing through your body, reducing the feel-bad chemicals, and it improves your emotional connection with your person. So no reason not to do that.
You know, that one of the things I read said that it also is good for calorie burning. I believe that is, you're going to get into, that's when you get into some serious kissing. That's like next level kissing.
This is like marathon level kissing.
You gotta be experienced and working it there.
That's right. I love that idea though, because people are gonna, if they think it burns calories, they're gonna do it.
That's the thing, is I think some of those bad kisses start out, they go straight for the calorie burn. I'm like, whoa. We're not in the calorie burn section yet.
Not yet. Slow down. Slow down.
So I love this fun fact. A 10-second French kiss can transfer 80 million bacteria between mouths.
Whoa. That's a lot of bacteria.
So that's literally chemistry happening. And as I said before, one might think that sharing that much bacteria would be a bad thing, but obviously it's good for dental health and your immune system. Unless you have COVID or something, you don't need to be kissing your person. I mean, that's obvious.
That's true. That is true. Well, that's interesting. I literally never heard that about impacting your oral health. I mean, I have heard that the more bacteria you're exposed to, the stronger your immune system can get. So, but I do love the literal chemistry that happens there.
Well, yes. And this, we want to hear from you listeners. Okay, come on. We want you to weigh in about your best kiss ever.
Yeah. And what made it so good? What made that kiss the best ever? What made it feel right? So please do message us about that. We want to hear about it. I have another fun bit of trivia for you that apparently there is something called the affectionate touch score, which ranks countries as far as how much they touch each other affectionately. And US ranks pretty high. I guess maybe our culture is more conducive to affection, because in the US, our affectionate touch score is 91.3. And it's proven that more affectionate touch, including kissing, was linked to higher love scores. So if you're kissing your partner, that's one of the things that makes your country's affectionate touch score higher.
That's very interesting. I'm kind of, well, those Brits can be kind of prudish, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think countries that are like very conservative religiously, or may not be as affectionate. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear more about what's behind that. But so if you think back, Rachel, about your best kisses, what do you think some of the hallmarks of those are for you?
I'm having some really good ones right now.
Y'all will notice that Rachel has not been discussing her personal dating life now, because it's not just theoretical.
It's game on.
In case you don't know, she's dating this woman named Monique.
Yes. I certainly am. And yeah, I mean, again, I think typically that has happened. It's been instant, like that sort of, I know the chemistry is really great. The energy feels really good. The rhythm is really nice right from the get-go. That doesn't mean that you don't continue to explore it or expand it or play around with it as you go along. But for me, the best is usually when the immediate instant energy is in play.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for being attuned to each other's signals, that you're paying attention. You're noticing if the person leans in or pulls back and adjusting accordingly.
Yeah. And it's really, that's why this topic is very difficult to think about how you help people do it, because it is so much about paying attention, actually also just really tapping into your own energy as well as what the other person's doing.
Yes.
And then the question is, if that doesn't feel very natural in the beginning, like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Do you continue to fine tune it, or do you assume that means it's not a good match? I don't know that I'd throw it out the window right away unless there was something really terrible about it, that it was just untenable. You knew you weren't going to be able to kiss this person for the long term. But, this is something that's funny because we didn't really discuss this when we were planning the show, but some sort of basics are: make sure you don't have bad breath. Like, use some mouthwash, eat a mint, chew some gum, because if you have offensive breath, that's problematic. I think also being tuned in, make sure you're paying attention. And I would also say that there's a sense of confidence. So moving with purpose. So you don't want to rush in like a bulldozer, but you want to have confidence. So maybe moving slowly, but with confidence.
Well, the breath thing too, not, coffee breath, all those things. Think about, think about what you're eating if you're on a date and you know that you're going to try to kiss the person for the first time.
Don't order like a really garlicky dish.
Right. Yes. So those are
onions on your hamburger. No. Mm-mm.
Right. No. I don't know if I believe that, yes, I would not nix somebody on the first kiss if it was not good, because I think people can be very nervous.
Yes.
And that you may, and then the idea of, do you believe that somebody's trainable? And if so, are they worth you trying to bring them into it?
Yes.
But I will say it is a very interesting distinction between kissing somebody for the first time, thinking that this is pretty good and I can tell that this could get a lot better.
Yes.
And I've experienced that. I'm sure you have too. Versus kissing somebody for the first time and going, what in the hell was that?
Yeah.
And then,
for sure. Sometimes there's just something about it that's so distasteful that you don't want it to happen again.
Right. And then the versus the kissing somebody for the first time and going, holy moly, I need about 6 hours more of that right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So those are, things to think about as far as how you're presenting yourself in a kiss. You don't want it to be too sloppy. You don't want it to be too wet, but you don't want to be too uptight. There's a lot to think about here.
Relax those lips a bit.
Exactly. I will also say that I don't feel like an expert on this topic because I have not had a first kiss in a very, very long time. I've been kissing the same person for a lot of years now.
Well, it must be working.
It's working out. It's working out great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all should practice some new. Y'all should have practiced before this podcast.
Practice some new techniques. Yeah. That's right. Joe did say that if I get a chance to kiss Robin Roberts, she would let me.
Oh, I wonder if she's a good kisser. Will you be sorely disappointed if she was terrible?
I would be so disappointed because I feel like she's going to be a very good kisser.
Yeah. That's also an interesting thing to weigh in on is if you, those of you out there listening, if you've gone into something, you've had several dates with somebody, you haven't really kissed them yet, and because everything else is going great. All the other stuff is happening that's good. And then you do that and it is a train wreck. What in the heck do you do with that?
That would be real sad. That'd be very sad. So let us know if that's happened to you because we want to share in your sadness about that.
And then do you believe that, are you the type of person that's open to feedback? Are you willing to, I would be, if I was really enjoying somebody, if I really saw potential there in other ways, then I would be inclined to go, how would you feel about me just sort of slowing this down a little bit for us?
Yeah, that would actually be a respectful way of saying something like that. I would bet that most people are too shy or too self-conscious to give feedback about a kiss because it's pretty vulnerable.
Yeah.
But if that's going to be a deal breaker for you, it's better to give the feedback and at least give it a try, I think.
Yeah, because you think about it. Also, it begs the question of, so you can't fix the kiss, but you're into this person in every other way.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. So let's talk about what are some red flags? I mean, we talked about what makes a good kiss, but are there some things that could indicate that kissing's a signal for trouble?
Yeah, I do think that it's definitely potentially a red flag, or at least maybe it says that maybe you're not a good match, like your energy level, your stuff is not meshing.
Yeah, I think so too. I saw a British survey that said that about 40% of British married couples reported kisses of 5 seconds or less when they do kiss their partner. And about 18% of those couples reported that they don't kiss their partner for a full week. So that means almost 20% of British married couples are not kissing their partner for a full week or more.
That is, and the other, if it's 5 seconds, that's a peck.
Yeah, I mean, 5 seconds, if you count it out, that's not...
1,000, 2 1,000, 3.
Yeah, exactly. That's not an
Okay.
insignificant kiss. It's not like kissing your grandma,
Okay.
But it's not a full-on makeout. So, yes. So that, that's kind of an interesting statistic. So if you have, like, if you're not kissing at all, or if you just have kind of like meh kissing, do you think that indicates a lack of emotional connection?
That's the question I have is for me personally, I think it would be hard to really lean into that emotional connection without that being it's such a lead into it.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, there's the intellectual connection, there's certainly the emotional connection around many other things.
Yep.
And so I would venture to guess that some people may weigh in and say that, hey, that was never as important.
Yeah, I think that's true. I do think, though, you can have an emotional connection with your friends or an intellectual connection with your friends, but you don't want to get to a place where you're just turning into roommates instead of lovers with your partner. And so, yeah, I would say take some time out to make sure that you do keep kissing and that it does still stay fun and exciting.
Yep. And repeating this because we did this segment on lesbian bed death and all that is around that. But I think it's just a great way to continue to keep that connection that makes you more than just friends.
Yes.
That doesn't always have to be about sex. And who knows, maybe it'll surprise you and you hadn't had sex in a year and all of a sudden you have sex because you kissed. I mean, just to me, it's like you said, I think on that episode, sometimes you need to just take your clothes off and crawl in bed together. And maybe the intention isn't but skin on skin. And the next thing you know,
see what happens next.
Never know.
Yeah, that's true. I found it interesting to read that kissing is actually not universal, and that this kind of romantic or sexual kissing that we experience in our culture is only present in about half of all cultures, a little less than half of all cultures, that other cultural backgrounds don't kiss in the same ways that we do in Western culture.
That is new to me.
Yeah.
Very surprised by that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I would assume it was universal, but that's because that's
second nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah. And if we have listeners out there, if you've ever had red flag signals, or if you've ever kind of had kissing lose the magic in your relationship, we would love to hear what happened for you. And if you think that happened because other things were also off, or if those two things are not connected at all, please let us know.
Well, we've talked a little bit about the technique, the consent. We talked about technique, well, a little bit, but the technique does matter. And that is just paying attention to comfort, rhythm, sort of mutual desire. That's the other thing, is paying attention to when you initiate that, making sure that both people are sort of feeling the desire for that to happen.
Yes. I mean, that goes back to the consent, just reading the cues from someone else. Are they leaning toward you, or are they pulling away from you? Just really pay attention to what's happening during the kiss.
When you're dating, I know a lot of the daters out there probably can relate to this. So we all have different boundaries around when you're ready for the first kiss. So some people, it's just, I expect if I go out on a date with you that we're going to kiss at the end of the date. Yeah. However this ends. Or some people, I think that comes a little bit later. And it can be a hug, or it can be a peck, or it can be, and you don't really talk about that when you're going out with somebody for the first time. It's kind of a weird conversation to have. Like, how are we going to end this? So when you go in for the good night embrace, it can be kind of funny, because if they're thinking they're going to go in for the peck, but you're really going in for the hug. So you really like turning your
turning your cheek. Exactly.
Right. And you get the mouth across the cheek.
So awkward. Oh God.
It is. Yeah, I actually think it's not a bad idea to just be frank and say, I would really love a kiss tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to kiss you. Or would it be okay if I kissed you? I think we talked about this a little bit before with consent with regard to sex, like being sexual with someone. And I think you have to be really careful about how you do that, because it can kill the vibe real quick. I don't view asking for a kiss the same way, or saying I'd really like to kiss you. That seems like it enhances the vibe instead of kills it. Instead of like, can I touch you here? Well, what about here? What about this? Like, that one, you got to be a little more careful with that one. The kissing thing, I think you could just ask, like, hey, I'd really like to kiss you. Would that be okay?
And on that note, if you get to that point, those of you that have sensitivities of places you don't want to be touched, do the other person a favor and just say it. Don't make them ask.
Right.
What? Do I touch you here? It's not a buzzkill. By the time you work your way through, oh, okay, can I touch your knee? Is it okay if I touch your elbow? Or you just say it.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. But you would be so surprised at how often this issue comes up in therapy. about consent. And I don't ever want to make light of that, because I know that women in particular have been approached in ways that did not get their consent beforehand. And so I never, ever want to make light of that or act like that is not an important thing. But anyway, we'll just stick with the kissing for now. And I think it's perfectly acceptable to ask someone if you can kiss them, or to tell them that you want to kiss them up front. I think that can be perfectly sexy and lovely.
Yes.
So
I agree.
And kind of going back to if something feels off, one of the ways you could say something like, hey, that felt off. Could we stop and talk about it? That you don't have to criticize what someone did, or say something that would be shaming to them. But if it felt off to you, it probably felt off to them too. So you could just name it, that it felt off, and ask to talk about what wasn't right.
I have to believe that if you're having a bad experience, I just have to believe that the other person's having one too. But I don't know. Maybe they're not.
If they're paying attention.
Yeah.
What I would say is, if they're not paying attention, they can just plow forward and never realize that you're having a bad time. But I think women are less likely to do that, because we get socialized to tune into other people more.
Yeah. And I also don't think it's a bad idea to really just lean in after you've kissed a little bit at the first time and say, hey, I know we're both nervous. And so how would you feel if we kind of step back and let's go back in and try to try this again. And because I know I'm feeling nervous, whatever. Oh, God. I don't know.
Oh my God, I'd be mortified if someone said that to me.
I don't know what to do about it, really. I don't, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe it would be, I do think you could say to somebody after you've kissed a couple of times, hey, how about if we try something a little different here?
How about if
Besides
a
you,
little different?
besides you trying to eat my face off.
That's exactly what you should say. Just email Rachel directly for kissing tips, y'all. She's got all the best lines.
I really don't know that I can work through this one. because I also, there's a dilemma too, because if you have, like, let's just say a hypothetical, hypothetical. Let's just say that I know of a Veronica who's a really good kisser, because I've experienced that with them, and I know that they are actually really good at kissing.
Yes.
And there's a Monique that wants to be set up with Veronica, and she's a bad kisser.
This would indicate that you might have kissed both Veronica and Monique in this situation.
Do you owe it to the good one to tell them straight up, or you just let them work that out? Or do you even
should tell the bad one that they're a bad kisser and they need to work on it before they go out with a good kisser?
Or do you just not refer them out at all? Because then you're going to get chastised for setting them up with a bad kisser.
I don't know about all that. I think you got to let them work it out, because maybe they feel like each other's a good kisser. You never know.
That's what I'm,
yeah. One person's yuck is another person's yum.
There are some techniques that are just not good. One person's yuck is another person's yum.
Some people might like having their face eaten off. I don't know. Oh my goodness.
Oh no. This is this topic is something. Okay.
It is something. I think you're the one that picked this one.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, well, let's talk about some key takeaways that we want our listeners to get from this episode.
Well, first, kissing can be a very powerful connector, but it also signals the health of your relationship. And so just knowing that both of those things are in play, possibly.
Yeah. And so if you're feeling disconnected from your partner, you might try kissing and see if that brings back a little spark. I think it's also important to remember that the frequency and the quality of your kisses matter, both for intimacy and for satisfaction. So you're going to feel more connected if you're having more frequent and higher quality kissing. And I think that's going to lead to higher level of relationship satisfaction.
And as we were talking about, the kiss that falls flat, isn't always about technique. It's oftentimes about connection, and that it does invite that conversation.
Yes, I think that's great. So if you want to try this at home or have things to talk about with your partner, I would say make time to kiss your partner just because. No agenda, just see what happens if you bring back that spark of real, like, intimate, passionate kissing with them.
Do you think that if it falls flat, you should ask somebody if there's something that shifted? Maybe they were in a mood, something was on their mind. But if you know that something's distinctly different, that it's probably good to just inquire about where they are.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Just asking what shifted rather than blaming them or getting mad or assuming that something's off between the two of you.
Don't assume that they've had an affair and they're kissing somebody different and bring.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, but that could be true. Just saying.
Bow, bow, chicka bow, bow.
Oh. I would also encourage that you mark those small moments with a kiss. So make it a routine to kiss each other good morning, to kiss each other good night, to kiss each other when you leave the house or when you come home. because those little opportunities to connect can really, build the bond between you and just really foster your relationship. So don't miss out on those opportunities.
Ditto on that.
Yeah.
So the best kisses aren't flawless, they're felt. The worst kisses aren't shocking, they're silent. Let's aim for the ones that leave us smiling.
Yes, that's a do. So we really want to hear your stories. We want to hear about your best kiss. We want to hear about your worst kiss. We want to hear about ways that kissing changed your relationship. You can always send us that information and ask us to keep it anonymous. But please do email us info@dateableaf.com, or you can find us on Instagram @Dateable AF. We have a Facebook page. If you prefer Facebook, we are Dateable AF. So yeah, please do reach out to us. It always makes us smile when we hear your comments, and you might find yourself the subject of one of our after party episodes. So send in those comments.
Yes, and I will say one quick thing is that I do have something to talk about for our next after party related to the boundaries.
Yes.
Episode. So listen in, because we will be throwing out a short after party with someone that asked a really good question about that.
That sounds great. Well, we are not entirely sure what we're talking about for our next episode, so it'll be a surprise to all of us. But please do tune in for our after party coming up this week. And as always, we want to thank you for listening to the Dateable AF podcast, where we help you find your happy ending.
And remember, be bold, be kind, and for the love of queer dating, don't text your ex. Stay dateable.
AF.